Real estate agents aren't even rich. They dress rich, but they're not actually rich.
It's very rare where you just text somebody and they're ready to sell, and then you find a buyer and then everything just comes together. Because if it was easy, I probably would have thought it was easy the whole time. And then when the struggles came, it would have got tough.
When you go in it with a way of you just want to help people and you'll go out of your way to make it work, you will get deals closed, 100%.
It took me like 2 years to hire a VA, but once I did, my business skyrocketed. There's people that have been doing this. You need to have a team around you to get to the next level.
For people who are looking to get into wholesaling, what would you say is the amount they should have to start with if they want to build a small team? What's up, you guys? I am here with a very special guest. This is Jonathan. He is an awesome friend I met online. He actually taught me about wholesaling vacant land. He's been in the wholesale business for about 4 years now, and he's about to cross the $1 million threshold on how much they've generated, which is awesome. And he's located in Florida, and you know, he has an amazing vibe. And I just wanted to share his story today, share how he got into wholesaling, how he even got into vacant land, and what is it he's doing today. So what's up, John? Thanks for being here, man.
And thanks for having me. That was a great introduction, man. I appreciate that.
Yes. Thank you, brother. And it's an honor, man, to share your story too. Like, how'd you even get started in wholesaling vacant land?
Man, it's been a journey, man. I went through the rabbit hole. You know, I was working a job doing timeshare sales, and then, you know, everybody reads certain books that change their perspective. Mine was Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm sure you probably read it too.
My favorite book too. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So yeah, I read that. Something changed in my mindset. I definitely want to get into real estate. I started doing the YouTube search, reading books and stuff, and I learned about wholesaling. Then I went down that rabbit hole and I learned about land, just watching videos from big people on YouTube like Jerry Norton and stuff like that. And then it's been crazy ever since, man. It's been a long journey, but yeah, once we did that, we started to get deeper into different ways of marketing, realizing that it's more of a marketing business than anything. I bought a little course in the beginning for direct mail, sent my direct mail out, and then I was able to, I'm breaking the process down, but it took a couple months to get here. So sent it out, and then I was able to close my first land deal. And then from there, we've been trying to double, triple, and just go ahead and go, bro.
That's awesome, man. That's a blessing. Congratulations too on that. Dude, it was an honor too to come across your videos, because myself, I was like, how do I comp land? I had mentors before they taught us wholesale, because I have only been in the business 6 months now. And he taught us how to comp properties, and that's it, like how to wholesale properties, but never land. He always just said avoid land, and I was like, why? And then I came across Flip with Rick videos. The same, they talk about land, but not too much. I mean, they do, but it's not like one of the main focuses. Right. And then so we didn't really touch it. Then we got a lot of leads with vacant land. We didn't really do much. I was like, I don't know how to comp land, and I don't think we'll make anything, especially in the market we're in. And then I was like, one day I was like, why are we leaving all this money on the table? Why not try to comp land? So I started Googling how to comp land. Then from there, went down the rabbit hole on YouTube, and then I saw your video, and I was like, who's John? And it's like, same cool name as me. Let me look at his page. And then, dude, the first video I saw was you showing how to comp a property, and in like the short 5-10 minutes of me watching, I was like, holy cow, it's even easier than comping a home. Absolutely. Way easier, bro. Could you share with the audience, like, why is it easier to sell land versus a home?
Because I feel land is pretty straightforward. There's no tenants, there's no renovation costs. It's either, you know, standard, let's say 10,000 square foot lot. You can go ahead and compare it to the other same size lots, what they're selling for, and it's basically rinse and repeat from there. So, and also for comps, we like to reverse engineer. So we're reaching out to buyers and builders first. They'll let us know, hey, John, we're paying, let's say, $70,000 for a 10,000 square foot lot. That's our comp. So we know if we can get anything under that, we're able to make the numbers work and go ahead and make the assignment fee.
Okay, so awesome, man. So pretty much the biggest differentiator from what I heard is with land, you reverse engineer, you get the builders first, the buyers, figure out where do they need to be to buy it, what's their buying criteria, and then when you find the land, you already know who your buyer is, and that kind of creates the comp for you too.
Right. So you know, there's a different process to find the market research and find a good area where lots are selling and new construction. But once you do that, we kind of just lean off of the comps and just see what the buyers and builders are paying. And then we go ahead with them. or even working with realtors that sold land in that area, you'll be able to kind of see it. But everything is free, man. You use Zillow, you got all your tools to
Yep.
go and kind of figure out the markets, you know?
I think that's something that we've struggled with, me personally, in the past, chasing the shiny penny, even all the different softwares out there and stuff. I'd go from one mentor to learn from another mentor, and then they're all using different stuff. I'm like, which one's the best one? What do we use? And I figured that was always the hardest part, but I learned, just try what you can afford right now, try the free ways, do the work, do the hustle, and then like make it work. And then you'll find the one that works best for you, instead of just always chasing the next best item or the next best software. But with wholesaling land, for the audience who's watching, who's never even heard of what wholesaling is, like, you're pretty much getting a property under contract and then assigning that property to a cash buyer who is actually going to buy the property. Then you make your difference in the assignment fee. So with us, when we get homes, we'll find a home off market, say the value of it fixed up is 300K, and we get it under contract at, say, 100K, and say only the rehab's about 30K. We list it at, say, 200K. Whatever the difference is, that's the assignment fee. And the process is very straightforward. We, even being virtual, it's blown my mind, dude, how it's possible to get people to sell you their home, and they've never even met you, they've never even seen you. It's just you're on the phone with them, to get them to walk you through the whole process, from signing it, getting photos taken of the property, walking our buyers to the property, getting it to escrow, and then closing title and getting paid. The first deal, dude, I was like, holy cow, this is possible. Right. Now that's homes. How does it work with land, bro?
So same process. We want to go ahead and we want to do market research to kind of find out where we want to put our marketing dollars, right? So we'll go ahead and we'll go on Zillow. We can look at land sold in the last 30 days, for example. Now, in my market, Florida, there's going to be a lot of comps because it's crazy out here, right? There's a lot of new construction going on, a lot of building going on. So you're able to kind of see the pockets of where things are selling. So once that's done, we want to go ahead and reach out to the buyers and builders, kind of what we were saying before, kind of just introduce yourself. Hey, my name is John. We acquire land in Florida. Just wanted to see if you're still buying lots out here in whatever city that you go ahead and find from your market research. Some builders, they're a little harder to get the criteria because they may be getting a lot of calls, or they're just busy, like they're busy building. But once you build some relationships, they'll let you know straightforward their price, and then you could go ahead and start hunting for the land according to their criteria, right? Okay. So now when we're coming to the marketing side of things, where you're going ahead and you're reaching out to these sellers, you start where you're at. There's times where, when I first got started, I want to keep everything as low cost as possible because I didn't have much money to get started. So for sale by owners, just reaching out via SMS is a cheap marketing strategy to get started with. But you just want to get in front of these sellers and just make them an offer and kind of see if they're interested. And then once you do, same process as you, send them an agreement, make sure it's assignable. And then go ahead and assign that agreement to the buyer or builder, and then you get paid the difference in the middle. And I just want to tell this to everybody, that you don't need a real estate license. You don't need money out of pocket. You just got to be able to have a good marketing system and get in front of these sellers to go ahead and put the pieces together.
No, for sure, man. 100, dude. When I first left the military, I knew I wanted to get into real estate, but I didn't know what in real estate, because there's so many different avenues in real estate. When I left the military, I actually ended up buying my real estate book, everything to study to be a real estate agent. Because like, oh, okay, that's how you make money. I see all these people in front of $1 million homes, and they must be rich. They must be balling. Right. And yeah, I went back stateside into Newport Beach. It started at Compass, and it was nice, dude. $1 million homes, 3 million, really expensive properties. The people you deal with, they're all this like kind of bougie people. But at the end of the day, I realized the real estate agents aren't even rich. They dress rich, but they're not actually rich. And what's really weird too is a lot of the real estate agents don't even own a property, or don't even have investment properties. So they're just on this hamster wheel of always chasing the next deal, which is something that we can fall in as well if we don't, turn the cash that we make from wholesaling and reinvest it into some sort of real estate investment. So when I learned that, I was like, hey, there's more money to be made in the wholesale side. So that's when I left being an agent, got into the flipping side, then wholesale. Right. For you, what did you do before you got into wholesaling land?
I was actually doing timeshare resale. So people that bought timeshare and they didn't want it no more, I would help them sell it and find a buyer. But it was a commission-based job too. So I kind of had that mindset of you have to hunt to be able to eat, because
I see.
it's not just an hourly rate. You're able to make more if you're able to close more deals. But yeah, I was doing that for about a year or so. And then once I started reading the right books and getting around the right people, I just felt like there was different opportunities, and I just was led down this rabbit hole that I'm grateful for, because it's been a journey, but it's you just gotta enjoy it. So yeah, it's just I was doing sales. I always did sales though. I sold shoes.
I used to sell shoes too. Did you sell like Nike SBs?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm a fan of shoes too, bro. But yeah, we went through all that, just trying to sell something, man, trying to make something happen. So yeah.
How old are you, John?
So I just turned 29 in January.
Oh, dude, belated birthday, man.
Appreciate
Happy belated birthday.
Appreciate
Bro, that's awesome. And so you started 4 years ago. So wow. So you started at what, 25?
Yeah, 25 and 26 is when I kind of started the entrepreneur.
Man, that is awesome, bro. I wish I started way sooner. Like for me, I started in the military, but it wasn't anything like, it was more so like starting online businesses, Shopify, drop shipping, small ticket items. But then I really learned over time, like reading books, following mentors, the real money's made in real estate. Absolutely. It depends what avenue in real estate, and the long-term goal eventually is to, actually buy properties. Like I know you wanted to say you're going to start doing soon. We can talk about that in a bit.
Right.
But like the wholesaling side, I really love it too, bro, because you don't need a lot of money. You don't even need any money other than, to pay your callers or softwares and pulling lists. For people who are looking to get into like wholesaling, what would you say is like the amount they should have prepared to start with if they want to build a small team?
If they want to build a small team, honestly, I would just say you either pay with your money or your time. So if you don't have much of a budget, I would go ahead and try to go ahead and, close a couple deals to understand the process. And once you understand the process from A to Z, you're able to build a team to know your strengths and your weaknesses. So, for example, it took me like 2 years to hire a VA, but once I did, my business skyrocketed. I guess in the beginning, some people don't go through this, but I did it on the entrepreneur journey. It's when you first join, it's lonely because a lot of the people that you were surrounding yourself back in the day aren't on that, right? But once you get into it a couple years down the line, I started to see that there's people that have been doing this. And then they kind of showed me like, you need to have a team around you to get to the next level. So when it comes to the amount of money, you start with what you have, and then go ahead and just try to close that first deal. Because once you do, you get your proof of concept, and then you're able to see, okay, I'm not that well at speaking to sellers. Let me try to hire that out. Or you can work on your strengths as well. But I just felt my strong side was dispo and speaking to buyers and builders. So I handled that. And then I hired out VAs to go ahead and handle the marketing side of things.
Awesome, bro. That's amazing. Like really, I like to say, delegate, automate, eliminate, because I think as entrepreneurs, bro, we're so fixated on when it's our baby, we want to do everything. But then you realize over time, like, hey, you can't do everything. You have to trust people. You have to empower people, or else you're going to be doing this the whole time as a mom and pop shop. The rest of your life, just you can't scale. It's hard to scale.
That's very
yourself out.
Yeah, bro. And then another thing why I chose wholesaling land, because I was literally able to close my first deal from the laptop, and that's what I wanted, the freedom to be able to work from anywhere. So now that I have a proof of concept and I got the right people in the right spots for the business, I'm able to travel, and as long as I got my laptop and a Wi-Fi connection, we're still able to close deals. So that was
you got to come out here too, to Prague and Europe and travel. Let's close deals and get them content too. That'd be awesome.
Do it, man. That's amazing, man. That I give it to you too. You said you've been in this for about 6 months now?
6 months now. I'm virtually wholesaling from Prague, Czech Republic.
That's, bro. And
then my time zones are off. So like I work from 3 p.m. to almost midnight. And then in Oklahoma, it's 8 a.m. to 4 or 5 p.m. when I'm done. But we're also targeting other markets too.
Right. You're just showing how possible it is, even with the, the time change difference, and the numbers you're telling me you're doing just this week is amazing, bro. So, keep leading from the front, brother. I love to see it, man.
You too, brother. Thank you. Could you, share a little bit about your first deal, what it was like? because the first one's the hardest, man. Like, dude, it took 4 months before we closed our first deal. We had so many deals fall out of escrow. I wasn't gonna quit, but I was like, dude, does this even work? Like, we had 3 deals fall out of escrow. We lost so much money. I'm like, there's no way. It's not like it's gonna work. But we just kept going. I'm like, when we finally closed, I was so happy. And then now it's a domino effect.
Right. No, absolutely, bro. It took me 4 months to close my first deal, 3-4 months too. So I went ahead, I sent some mailers out, and I didn't really get much responses, but a guy wanted to sell his land and he owned 3 lots. It was under an LLC. And I sent him the agreement and we were able to get it locked up. Then I couldn't find a buyer. So I started posting on Facebook groups and stuff. And then out of nowhere, this JV dispo company reached out to me and they said they had a buyer. So many things happened during the process with title issues and stuff, but I had a great title company that I worked with my first deal with that I work with now. They literally walked me through this first deal. They're like, John, you should do this. The buyer tried to back up, but they're like, no. In the assignment, he only had 14 days. He's past that due diligence. He doesn't get his deposit back. So when I let him know that, then he was like, okay, I'll just close on the lots, and we were able to get the deal closed. But it took me 3 months. It's not like I just sent mailers and I got the lead. I sent mailers the first month, no response. I'm like, and mailers are kind of expensive,
Yeah.
So I'm sending more mailers, and then finally I'm getting a couple calls. Nothing really. Some people just, telling me that my offer is horrible. You know how it is.
Yeah.
During those months, finally, I got somebody that was interested, and I was working that lead. So many obstacles happened. We had to send a bunch of addendums to extend. But once we closed, it was a proof of concept. And here's the thing, right? When we close the deals, you're able to see the HUDs, right? It's my first deal. And there was 3 lots, and I made $1,000 for each lot, and then the dispo company, they made $3,500 off of each lot. So yeah, so they definitely won in that sense, but I was only after the knowledge. I didn't really care about that. I just cared that I closed a deal. I have a check with my name on it. That first feeling where you're like, okay. And then from there on, I was like, this is real, man. We could definitely, do it again, right?
That's amazing, brother. That's a really inspiring story too, because for people who want to get into this, man, I want to say it takes persistence and discipline and showing up and doing the hard work, like being on the dialer. Now I have callers that call up, they're on the dialer. We're about to open up texting, but dude, it was so hard for me to get on the dialer. I was so scared to call the people, even comping properties. I was so slow when I would go on acquisitions. And then even before I'd call the homeowner, I'd be like, I'd do it, but it took me a long time to just do it. And then over time I learned, what's the biggest thing that's going to happen? They're not going to kill you. You can't, get hurt through the phone. I'm literally on a different continent. So like, what's the worst that can happen? I think for people that want to get into it, that's the biggest thing is you got to just do it and you'll grow from it for sure. Absolutely. What would you say, John, was like some of the hardest things you've learned in wholesale for the 4 years you've been in it now?
Just understanding that nothing's going to be easy, and that the deals that take the most work are usually the ones where you're providing the most value, which equal, great assignment fees. So you just got to understand that it's very rare where you just text somebody and they're ready to sell, and then you find a buyer and then everything just comes together. There's usually a bunch of loopholes you have to jump through, a bunch of problems you have to solve. But as long as you understand that even if you don't close the deal, you learn something, right? Mm-hmm. Well, we're talking, I'm thinking about it now. It took me 3-4 months to close that deal, but I wouldn't have wanted it to be any other way, because if it was easy, I probably would have thought it was easy the whole time. And then when the struggles came, it would have got tough. We've seen how tough it was. So we understand like, hey, it's not an easy business, but it's real. So every time you hit a trial and tribulation, or even when you close a deal, you get the knowledge behind it. So right now I'm at the spot where I'm grateful for the checks that I'm closing and the deals that I'm closing, but I'm more after the knowledge after each deal, what we can do with it, all the problems we're overcoming, like probate, whatever it might be. Everything is different, and you're able to learn from each deal. So you just be after the knowledge, and the checks will follow.
Yeah, man. No, for sure. That's why I think people have to be persistent and don't give up, because people are too quick to give up and just toss the towel and say, oh, this doesn't work. Let me chase the next thing. Let me do Amazon FBA. Let me do this. Let me do drop shipping.
Right.
But just stick to something, because dude, that was one of my biggest vulnerabilities and weaknesses, bro. I was running multiple businesses and trying to do all of them at the same time and thinking, okay, this one's gonna work, this one's gonna work, instead of just going all in on one thing. And now that, by the grace of God, dude, after praying and like really trying to figure out, hey, what is my purpose in life? I've learned like being able to help others with get, out of their property. It was a really good feeling, dude. It was crazy. So we just closed the deal on Monday. The homeowner, I've been following up with her since November.
Mhm.
And bro, like she's a really old lady. She reminded me of my grandma. I built a lot of rapport with her. And that's the thing I learned in wholesale and in real estate in general. It's a relationship-based business. And bro, so literally we were supposed to close on Friday. The seller was at escrow, our buyer, everything was good. But then the buyer didn't want to release the funds until she was actually vacant from the home. But she needed the funds to move out of the property to pay for the moving company, which was ended up only being like $532. It was really cheap. And I even notified the seller beforehand, but he was like, no, he had a previous deal that went south and he didn't want to do that because he had to evict them last time. So I was like, okay, I understand. We never done a deal before. He doesn't know us. We'll take care of it. So what we ended up doing, bro, we ended up forking money out of our own pocket, paid the moving company for her, moved all of her stuff for her, and then we were able to close. But dude, so I talked to her on Friday. I was literally on a date with my girl. My escrow was calling me. It was like midnight here. I went to the bathroom. I was navigating the deals. I was talking to the seller, talking to the buyer, telling, hey, okay, we'll pay the moving fee, et cetera, et cetera. It'll just be refunded from closing. So everything was good, man. But we solved it in a couple hours. So Saturday, I talked to her again. She was all excited. She was really happy to close on Monday. Sunday morning, bro, I get a call from the daughter. And she left a voicemail. She's like, "Hey, John, just give me a call. Something happened. We need to talk to you. It's important." And I was in my head. I was already stressed. And I was like, "Oh God, the deal's about to fall apart. We're all this time spent. It's gonna fall." And she called me, and dude, the mother, the girl I was talking to since November, she passed away from stress of the whole deal. Literally, they took her to the hospital Sunday morning because she was feeling nauseous, and she coded and didn't make it out. It was so sudden. And dude, when she told me that, at first I was in shock. I was like, what are you talking about? There's no way. I just talked to her yesterday. Bro, I started bawling, bro. It was weird. Like, I don't know the lady. I've never seen her in my life. Just talked to her since November. But I was crying, bro. I felt responsible too, because I was like, if the seller just released the funds, she could have closed on Friday. She wouldn't have had all the stress of trying to find the movers. And it made me think, would she still be alive? But then the daughter was like, no, don't do that to yourself. She was struggling through cancer for 2 years. She was having health issues, but it was just too much stress for her. But dude, that single moment right there made me realize it's not about the money.
Right.
It's nice to get paid. It's these big checks, but it felt really good to help her out of that property, even though she didn't end up getting to move. We still closed. Luckily, everything was signed on Friday. We closed Monday. And her funeral is actually tomorrow, so we're actually sending her some flowers, her family. So I just want this to be a testament too, like for anyone watching, like it's not about just money, you guys. When you go in it with a way of you just want to help people, like, and legitimately want to help people, and you are genuine about that, and you'll go out of your way to make it work, you will get deals closed. 100%. You will get deals closed. But I just wanted to share that. It was a little long, but dude, that was my turning point where I was like, wow, we're really giving a good value to people, trying to help them out of those situations.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. I agree 100%, man. It's just everybody gets caught up in making money and stuff. And before you even learn the wholesale game, I try to tell people that you need to learn about finances. You need to build your financial intelligence, because a lot of people that make the type of money that's possible to make in wholesaling can ruin themselves because they just have so much bad habits. And I feel like God put me in a position to make this type of money only when I was ready. Because if I was to make this type of money when I was younger, I'll probably be doing some silly stuff. You know what I mean? I wasn't ready. So I believe, God's timing is perfect. And everybody, if you just understand you add value in any way, whatever business venture you choose to do, you'll receive payment for it, but it's not about that. So like I told you, we're in a place where we give without expecting anything in return. God called us to be cheerful givers, to give, and just, it's not about what they could give back to you. So when people understand that, they'll be successful in whatever venture they're in, bro. For sure.
For a 29-year-old, you're very mature and you're very well spoken. And I I love, working with other men who, have faith too. Because, dude, a year ago, I went through one of the hardest breakups in my life, and it changed me completely, bro. I actually moved out here to Prague for one of my exes, and it destroyed me, bro. Started getting to the red pill community, Andrew Tate. I became very toxic masculinity, but at the same time, it helped me learn my worth, and I grew a lot from it. But dude, I was drinking all the time. I was blowing all my money. I was showing off, going all the Balenciaga, Louis Vuitton, buying all this stupid stuff. I have literally behind me on my shelf, I have like 5 pairs of shoes I haven't even fucking worn, bro. It's just like, why did I buy all that?
Right.
And I like what you said earlier. God has everything planned out, and everything happens for a reason, and the timing. Because, dude, I was literally spending all my money when I had my Amazon FBA business. I made good money in that business, but dude, I was just blasting it left, right, showing off, doing all this stuff to prove people that I was worthy. And then when I really looked back and realized, I was like, dude, that was stupid. And then now my mindset is, I'm not going to spend this money. I'm going to reinvest it to the business. So I love what you said there, that, God puts us through those things to grow us and mold us until we're actually ready. When you shared that, what would you share, if you're open to it, was one of the hardest things you've experienced that made you into who you are today, John?
That's a good question, bro. There's been a lot of trials and tribulations. And looking back at it now, I read my Bible every day. I believe in God. I try to be the best man I could be. But what really changed my life is not one single trial or tribulation. It's the mindset from the scriptures to say how to view it, right? Because in the scriptures, it says that every trial and tribulation is a blessing from God to build your faith and endurance. Now, when I'm going through a trial and tribulation and it's something like, whatever it might be tough, but I look at it like God just wants me to build my faith, and it's a blessing from him. So once you change that mindset, anything like, bro, I went through bad breakups. I went through so many, tough situations. But now that I look back, I see it's like when you're in it, you don't understand. So you're asking God why. You'll be like, what's going on. But then once you get past it, you're like, I understand now. So the wisdom that we have to learn from God's words is to see that, okay, when you're in that position, don't ask why, just understand God got your best interest at heart, and you're gonna be fine, bro. So it's about overcoming is what we're called to do, bro. So once you're able to see that, deals fall apart, that's fine. It wasn't for you. Deals closed, okay, it was for you, right? And then everything is self accountability is very important, right? So when you're doing something and you make the wrong move, it's your fault. Don't blame nobody else. But now when you're winning and you're learning how to wholesale and you're getting the check, it's also your fault too. So you just got to look at it in the right mindset, bro. Self accountability and just having faith. That's it.
I love what you said there, Jonathan, and having accountability and faith. Like a year ago, I grew up in a Christian household. At my family, we always went to church, but I never really truly believe. And it was funny too, because my cousin, he never used to be a Christian. And then when I saw him turn his life around, he became a different person. You could just tell he was happy and at peace.
Right.
And he was always stressed out. And I always wonder, what's it like? Because I see all these people who went through this bad phase and then they changed their life. And then for me, like I said, I was always Christian growing up, but I never really had the faith until last year when everything fell apart and I lost everything almost. Mm-hmm. And all these things that fell into my path, into my lap, dude, I was like, how is it possible that, even this apartment I'm in, this beautiful apartment I'm in, everything has fell in place because of God. With wholesaling, all the people that had to come into my life, even if it was for bad, to hurt me and to make me grow and learn, it was all because of a bigger purpose, man. And it's just amazing meeting other, spiritual guys that, are open to sharing their faith. And it's really relieving, bro. Because before, like last year, I'd stress out a lot. I'd have anxiety attacks. I'm like, oh, what am I going to do here? We have to figure it out. Now I'm at peace, bro. Same like you said, if it's not for me, it's not for me. It's not part of God's plan. Right. Now, even with deals falling apart, before I used to stress out, but I'm like, hey, if it falls apart, as long as I did what I could do, I did as much as I could do, man.
Absolutely. And then honestly, bro, it's part of the game. You can't just close every deal. You know what I mean?
It would be nice.
You can just, get everything the way you want it. Yeah, but it's part of the game. You go and close deals. Some deals gonna fall apart, whatever it may be. But we understand that what's for us is for us. And that's why I tell everybody, just to have an abundance mindset. Don't think that something is too saturated, or you can't do this or can't do that because, so many other people are doing it. If you just, work hard, and it's part of God's plan, that, everything will work out for you for sure.
For sure, man. So you said you started out in land, so you've never wholesaled a property. It's primarily land.
Bro, I never wholesaled a house in my whole 3-4 years of this wholesaling. I want to. It's just I got into land and I just never left since, man.
I think once you find your pocket, like, bro, like, because right now, after you taught me about land, my dad and I, he's my business partner, we're excited to, get started. We pulled leads already. Our team is calling. We're just waiting for those leads to come in that are actually vacant land, so we can go through the process. But I'd say in vacant land specifically, how do you mentioned like the areas you look for to find where is it profitable and stuff, but what are some key strategies you have in place for you and your team to actually say, hey, this is a good deal? How do you know it's a good deal, other than like having the builders tell you this is where they buy?
Okay, yeah, that's a great question, bro. So once you're jumping into these markets, I'm talking about Florida specifically. That's the markets that I'm in. In every pocket or every city or zip code, there might be a different obstacle you have to overcome. So, for example, in certain areas, there might be tortoise burrows, and like turtles, you have to safely remove them to a turtle sanctuary, and it costs $8,000 to $10,000 per turtle. So a lot of
Really?
want to touch that. Yeah. So that's one obstacle. So you only get this knowledge from being in the market, to speaking with buyers and builders, and to, closing deals there. And then in other areas, it might be wetlands. It's hard to build up on there. So a lot of builders stay away from that. And then other areas, utilities, they want utilities on site, whatever it may be. So if I'm jumping into a new market, like you said, I'm going to reach out to the buyers and builders, kind of just get their criteria. But one main question I always ask them are, what are the lots you're looking for, and what are the deal breakers? What are the lots you do not want? And then usually that question, if they're taking the time to speak with you, they'll tell you, hey, I don't want none of this, whatever it might be, from the reasons I described before. And then you're able to kind of try to look out for that. Now, when we're doing wholesaling land in these markets, there's so many online resources. There's wetlands mappers, utilities maps, whatever it might be, to actually be able to see, okay, this is a good price, but does it match the criteria? Let me check the wetlands mapper. Let me see if there's any wetlands around it, or whatever the obstacle is. And once you double check that, then okay, and the price is good to go, you should be able to get it. So, but always the buyer and builder will double check anyways. So you're able to go ahead and do a little due diligence in the front, and then send it over to them. They'll go ahead and just confirm what you said. And if everything's good to go, then you should be able to go ahead and close the deal.
Okay. And with land too, I've watched a couple videos on Instagram Reels, and I think you follow Jack Bosch as well. I saw him on Ryan Panetta's podcast. I saw a video where he made $3 million on one land deal net, and I'm like, holy cow, $3 million. I'm like, that's crazy. With land, people always were saying, oh, the people told me that don't do land, it's not worth it. You won't make a lot of money. There's small amounts of money. For you, what would you say is a big misconception, other than that one, about land? And why do you love land specifically?
I feel like land is very scalable, and you're able to do it virtually. Like, you literally don't have to. I think houses is a great avenue too, and I definitely want to get into it. It's just more straightforward. You don't have to worry about tenants. You don't have to worry about sending people to view the property. You're able to find opportunities and just send it to the builder, and if it works, it works. So it's very scalable in my eyes. And also, like you said, there's so much potential. Like I was telling you, we were having a conversation before, is land is like the foundation of everything. Before anything is built, you start with the land. So then there's opportunity to meet buyers and builders in your journey as a land wholesaler. Maybe you guys partner up. Now you're building to rent or building to sell, not just flipping land. Maybe you get into development. Maybe you do land entitlements. There's so many different avenues from the start here, so the first step that most people do to break into real estate is wholesaling. Why? Because you don't need much capital to get started, and it's just how most people start. Then they'll do fix and flips or whatever it might be. But once you start with land, there's so many different opportunities when you get around the right people. And then also, like you said, there's so many different avenues from the start here, so the first step that most people do to break into real estate is wholesaling. Why? Because you don't need much capital to get started, and it's just how most people start. Then they'll do fix and flips or whatever it might be. But once you start with land, there's so many different opportunities when you get around the right people. and you know, you're able to kind of build off that and kind of see what niche is for you.
Thank you for sharing that, John. And I know with land too, like you said, oh, there's a lot of opportunities. You had mentioned before we hopped on the podcast too, that there's some new opportunities you want to get into in the future with land. Would you mind sharing like what exactly you want to do? I think you said developments and stuff.
Yeah, I definitely want to start building to rent, because in my whole journey of 3-4 years of wholesaling land, my biggest regret is not keeping anything, right? So if I stop wholesaling today, there's no income coming in. I don't have any assets. That's a big problem for me, you know. So when you're making this money and you don't have any what I call like plays to put your money to work, then it's just sitting there. And if it's sitting there, we understand inflation. We understand it's just decreasing, right? So you want to put the money to work. So now that it took me a while to notice that, I definitely want to start buying the land. I want to go ahead and build on the land. And once you build on the land, if you get the right builder, they build at cost, and you'll be able to build the equity. For example, if you find an area where new construction homes are selling for 400,000 once they're all built up, a standard 3-2, right? You could go in, and then maybe the lots are selling for 60-70K, but you as a land wholesaler, you know how to get them off market discounted. So you might buy it for 50. So you go ahead, you find the land, you buy it, or you use other people's money. You own the land now. Now you partner with a builder. They build that cost for a 3-2. It might be $150,000. So 50 plus the 150, you're all in for 200. But when it's appraised, it's worth 400,000. So now you have $200,000 in equity. What you can do is you can refinance 70% out, which is 300,000. So you have $100,000 in your pocket, and you have $100,000 in equity. Now you could go ahead and rent it out, and you're building your assets. So you do that a couple of times, you might have.
Oh, it's like a domino effect, essentially.
Right. It just starts with the first one. But now I'm at that stage where I was when I first started wholesaling. I'm like, what am I going to do? I don't know nothing about this. But now I know I'm in the right place, because I'm uncomfortable again. I got too comfortable doing wholesale land. It was like second nature. And I feel there wasn't much else to learn when it comes to infill lots, not land in general, just infill lots. I feel like I kind of got that part down. So I definitely want to go ahead and just learn different ways to go ahead and start building these assets, bro.
That's awesome, bro. I think that's even better than just like flipping properties, because you're getting the land and you're building a brand new home this year, whatever year, and it's going to be more attractive because it's already in a good, I guess, community, because that's where you're looking at too. And then, like you said, refinance it, then you already have equity and you have money in your pocket. That's a golden nugget right there. Thank you for sharing that, brother. Thank you so much. Yeah, dude, that's fire, man. Because like, there's so many, like I said, there's so many pockets in real estate. It's like, where do you get started? But I love the land side because, like you said, it's more scalable. Because like some of the hurdles we have, bro, like when we get a property under contract, we have never walked the property. We don't know what the condition is like. Other than talking to the homeowner, but homeowners aren't always telling you everything that's wrong with it.
Right.
Like, oh, it's in good condition. But then when we actually have the buyers walk through and we get photos, man, it's completely. We either locked it up too high, or our spread is even smaller now because the amount of money is going to be needed for rehab for the buyers. And with land, you don't have to really worry about that, because when you deal with builders after you get the land, man, like you said, you just buy how much it's going to cost to build it. So we said 150, and then you get it appraised and it's say 400, and then wow, dude, it's an awesome tactic.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I haven't done it yet, but hopefully this year I break ground and just start doing my first one, and then I'll come back on here and share my experience with you guys, man.
Always room for growth every year, bro. With those development plays, though, how long does it typically take from start to finish, finding the land, getting under contract, parting with the builder, building the property, getting it appraised, getting it built, and then actually putting renters or selling it? How long would you say that process is?
Depending on the GC that you're working with, I say it could take anywhere to 6 to 8 months from finding the land to breaking ground to having the finished product and renting it out. But as soon as you build the systems in place, you'll be able to have a bunch of connections where you can do maybe 2 or 3 at once, or you might be able to scale just like these bigger builders do. The DR Hortons, or just the bigger builders that might be out there. They have their systems in place where they can build a whole subdivision because
Yeah.
they have the pieces. And a lot of people that build, they don't even have their GC license. They're just the mastermind putting all the pieces together. You know what I mean?
It's like us. You said you into wholesale, you don't need a real estate license. You
That's
don't need a license to do any of this. It's trial by fire. And how much do you want to put in sweat equity wise?
right.
Um,
Yeah.
Anyone can get into this game nowadays. The internet, you have so much knowledge at your disposal. Like really, I remember, dude, when I joined the military, I was 19. YouTube was just starting up, and yeah, people were making good videos on there, but there wasn't everything available. Even when I was talking to a couple of my mentors too, they didn't even have YouTube. They didn't even have online resources for mentorships. Now, left and right, there's so many mentors. I actually wanted to ask you too, bro. Who's been one of your biggest mentors that has helped shaped you into who you are, real estate wise? Then also, if you have a personal mentor that helped you develop as a man or got closer to God.
Honestly, bro, I'm gonna be for mentors. It's been experience. There's no one person. I've learned a lot of video from the YouTube videos out there, but yeah, it's been experience. I feel like anybody that would have had a mentor could have probably did what I'm doing in half the time. So I kind of did it the hard way, where I felt, I don't know why I felt like it, but I just felt like I had to do everything on my own because I felt like a lot of people didn't understand me when I made that switch.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's definitely been a journey, but yeah, it's been experience, bro. And then of course, outside of real estate, just the God, the scripture, and just knowing that everything is gonna be as it should. So yeah, just having faith and working hard, bro. I kind of got to where I am, but not saying that there hasn't been people I've learned from and stuff like that. But when it comes to, I can't think of one certain individual that kind of, got me to this place. But I do recommend people to get, a great mentor to kind of cut the learning curve if they want to. But everybody has their own journey. So it took me a little bit longer because, like you said to me, like you wish you would have got into this at my age, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, I wish I would have got it. There's people doing what I'm doing at 18, 19, bro. Like
Even younger, dude. I'm like, man.
it's amazing, bro. So everybody has their own journey. So I kind of just, I respect it all, bro.
For sure, man. Thank you for sharing that. And for anyone that's looking to actually get into wholesaling vacant land, you talked about mentorships. What would you give them advice to what should they start doing to get started?
Yeah, I would just go on YouTube and start watching some videos and just kind of educating yourself. But before that, I would kind of learn, when you do make the money, what are you going to do with it? That's the first step, because a lot of people make the money, they don't know what they do with it, so they just spend it. And that's not what the goal is here. So get your financial intelligence right. Then go ahead and go on YouTube and figure out the niche you want to do. If it's wholesaling land, watch some videos. And then once you do that, just take action and learn from experience, or try to get around the right people that are actually doing, not that has done, that right now in 2024 is doing the thing that you want to learn to do. Get around them, provide value to them, ask them how you could be at service, and surround yourself with the community. And then you'll go ahead, and any questions you may have, you're going to have people around to assist you.
For sure, John. I actually want to share with everyone too. Like when John and I met on YouTube, it's crazy. Social media, the internet, you can make friends out of the internet, across the world. And when I came across John's page, all the free value you were giving, bro, I was like, wow, this guy, he's giving a lot of free value, and he's a good guy. And just when we met for the first time, bro, I could tell you had a good vibe, good energy. And the community too was a whole nother level too when I got in there. There's a lot of communities I've joined where the people are just giving fluff, then they upsell them to buy their course or whatever. You don't even have a course. I remember asking you if you have a course, or even if you do mentorship one-on-one, you don't. And that's what I think is awesome, because there's so many people out there who they'll try it and they'll fail, and they'll just become a coach and they'll teach you the steps to do it, but they didn't actually do it themselves.
Right.
I love what you're doing, bro. You're just giving free value. Literally, when we topped on a call, you told me how to find my target areas, what tools to use, what softwares to use, how to do everything. And now it's just up to us to execute. If people want to get into that community, where can they go to get in the community? And what is that community about? Like, what are you guys doing there?
Absolutely. So we have a Facebook group. It's called High Value Land Group. And in there, it's just a bunch of people that want to learn that already wholesale land, builders and developers. There's so many connections in there. There's people that post deals and they need buyers, so they joint venture. Everybody's just adding value to each other. So that's the kind of community I kind of wanted to create. I wholesale land full time. That's what I do. So I just wanted to share my experiences in my journey, and I've been truly blessed by the opportunities that come across, the people that I meet. And I made that change kind of recently to just let people know, hey, you know, I do wholesale land. If there's any way that I could be at service, if we could work together, I'd love to the opportunity. But yeah, it's just a place for people to come in. It doesn't matter if you're just starting or if you're seasoned. There's value in there, and there's people in there that genuinely just help people, expecting nothing in return again. So that's the kind of environment I want to create, where people can ask any question. It doesn't matter. We're here to help.
For sure. And I love what you said there, community. You know, when I moved to Prague, bro, like I didn't have any friends when I first moved here, and I had to build my community. And then even when I built my community, I still didn't have any friends doing what I do, real estate. And I still felt alone, bro. I was like, dude, am I the only one doing this? And the hardships felt even harder. I'm glad I have my business partner, my dad, but even still, we didn't know anyone else doing this other than our mentor. But now that, you know, I found you, and we also joined Ryan Panetta's community as well. It's just the endless amount of support and the knowledge and different ways you can do deals together too. Like even JVs we can do together. It's amazing, bro, with the real estate business. If you go at it to give value and it's not competition, it's collaboration, dude, you'll make so many friends. You'll go a long way in business. Because I've come across a lot of people where they're just like, they're kind of like snakes, bro. They'll just try to snake deals, or they'll try to figure out what are the best systems. What are you doing? And then they'll just run with it and just take and run. But I'm like, hey, if you're giving without expecting anything in return, and you're just like trying to give value, I believe in the law of attraction and also karma. Like, is if you keep on giving. Yeah, you're gonna actually. Alex Hormozi talked about this too. If you keep on giving and giving, you're more than likely gonna get used several times. But he's also found that people who give the most actually level up the fastest, because when they come across other people who give a lot too, and they both come together and partner up, the things they accomplish together are so amazing. I think I even before we started this podcast, where we were talking about, you know, the giver, the taker, and the matcher. When we first connected, bro, I was already like, this guy's a giver for sure. Like a lot of my best friends and really good friends, they're all givers. It's just this energy. Naturally, I'm usually like, I'm more introverted when group settings, but around the right people, I'm very extroverted, and around the right people on the same like wavelength and same vibes, bro, we could talk for hours. I wish we could talk for hours, dude. I know we don't have too much time left, but I wish we could talk for hours. But yeah, Alex Hormozi talks about there's people that give, they're the givers, there's the takers, obviously they just take, and there's the matchers where they just, you know, they match how much you give, they're going to give the same amount in return. But I say, don't ever stop being you, bro. Like even the free group you have, all the value you give, I'm sure people, you know, will just, some of the people out there will just go in, take what they can and run. But it's like, at the end of the day, you know, it's always better to give than to receive, like it says in the Bible. And for me, it's like, it feels better too.
Yeah. Amen, bro. Amen. I couldn't put it any other way. I believe that 100%, bro. It's not going to change. I'm going to still give, you know, and at the end of the day, whatever their intentions are, they have to take that up. But I know what my intentions are, so I'm going to keep them pure, you know.
100, Jonathan. And to close things out, like if you have someone who's brand new who wants to start, and you were to tell him, hey, this is my starter kit, this is the exact softwares you need, these are the tools you need, this is what you need to do starting today if you have no money, what would you tell them to do to get their first deal?
Yeah, I would tell them, depending on your marketing budget, I would start with SMS. Well, it doesn't matter what your marketing budget is. SMS is my bread and butter when it comes to getting leads. So I use a system called REI Reply to send out text messages. I use PropStream to pull data. And once you have those two systems put together, you can go ahead and start just contacting people that own land. That's really like the necessities in my eyes. And then, you could just start hunting, start closing deals, and then you can start upping your systems as you do it. But just to get started, I think that's the perfect setup.
There you go, you guys heard it. Take action on that information. Join Jon's group as well. Jon, what was the group name again, so we can plug it below?
Yes, sir. It's High Value Land Group on Facebook. And then you guys could also, if you have any questions or anything, you could contact me on Instagram. It's at J, the letter J, wholesome. And any way that I could be at service, let me know, guys, for sure.
I love that, brother. Thank you so much, man, for being a guest in the podcast and your friendship too, and dude, for teaching me a lot too, as far as vacant land and how all that goes. And dude, I'm looking forward. I know we're gonna do another podcast in the future, dude. Can't wait to share your story when you do a lot of developments, man, and the growth that you're going to make in that field as well. But thank you for everyone watching. If you found value in this and you had any questions or your favorite parts, go ahead and write it down below what you thought was your favorite part, or if you had any questions for Jon. And if you found that this video could help someone else, go ahead and share this with them too. But thank you so much, Jon, for joining us. And everyone, be sure to follow Jon, join his group. And we'll see you on the next podcast, brother.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Awesome, man. I'll stop the recording. Dude, that was fire, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I enjoyed it, brother. That was amazing, man.
It was awesome, man.